Okay, let's just get right to it. Are you feeling it? That constant pressure? I think you know what I'm talking about. It's this sort of low-grade hum of uncertainty that, let's be honest, a lot of us are just living with right now.
And when you start to break it down, it really feels like it's coming from all sides, right? Like a 1-2-3 punch to your financial security. First, you've got AI, and everyone's wondering, is my job safe? Then there's inflation, which is just relentlessly eating away at any savings you manage to put aside. And on top of all that, you have Social Security, which, well, it kind of feels like it's on a countdown clock.
So here's where the thinking starts to get really interesting. The perspective we're looking at today says these aren't three separate problems. They're all symptoms of a bigger issue, a broken system. And this quote, man, it just cuts right to the heart of it. Maybe you're playing a game that's rigged from the start. It's a powerful idea because it shifts the blame. It makes you ask, what if it's not me? What if the whole game is the problem?
And this is the perfect metaphor for it, isn't it? It's like you're on a treadmill that just keeps getting faster and faster. You're running, you're working hard, you're doing all the right things, but you're not actually getting anywhere. Inflation is cranking up the speed. Taxes are too. And you're just trying to keep from falling off, all while watching what you earn shrink before you can even use it. It feels like you have zero control.
So yeah, it can feel like a pretty bleak cycle of anxiety. But after painting that picture of the problem, the whole conversation pivots with this one simple but massive question. What if? What if you could just hit a reset button? And this is the proposed reset button. It's called the FBC System Reset. FBC stands for Family Business Circle. And look, we're not talking about a little patch or a quick fix here. This is a proposal for a complete, fundamental redesign of how things work. What you're seeing here is basically the blueprint, the roadmap for a plan that's all about giving that control and security back to the individual. So, let's walk through it, pillar by pillar.
All right, first up, we have Pillar 1, the Wealth Firewall. I mean, the name pretty much says it all, right? The whole point here is to build a strong, protective wall around your family's finances. It's all about defense.
So how does it do that? Well, the key idea here is to break that total dependence on a traditional 9-to-5 job. If you look at the diagram, you see the job is still there, but it's feeding into this protected fortress. That fortress, that's what's actually securing your finances. It's creating a buffer, a separation, so if the job goes away, you're not completely exposed.
And the engine that makes this fortress work is a concept called a private family bank. Now stick with me here. The idea is to turn money you're already spending into tax-deductible assets. You're essentially reframing how you look at your expenses, and by doing that, you start to build this protected pool of your own capital. It becomes a financial cushion that's way more resilient, in case that AI threat we talked about becomes a reality.
Okay, moving on to Pillar 2. This one is called the Fairness Exchange, and it builds right on top of that firewall. And this one, well, this one goes straight for the jugular of the current system, taxes. And you can see the proposed shift right here. It is a huge one. Over on the left, that's our current system, a super complex income tax. The proposal? Scrap it. Replace it completely with what's on the right, a simple national consumption tax. So think about that. Instead of getting taxed on every single dollar you earn, you'd only pay tax on what you buy. And this is a really critical piece. Necessities, things like food and medicine, would be totally exempt. All right, so let's say you've got your wealth firewall built. The tax system is way simpler. So the next logical question is, now what? Where does all that capital go to work? That brings us to Pillar 3, the secured stake. And this is all about making a fundamental shift from being just a consumer in the economy to being an actual owner. And here's how that's supposed to work. Step 1, you take the capital from all those private family banks we mentioned earlier, and you pool it together. Then, with that collective capital, you start buying into essential infrastructure. We're talking about things everyone needs, like housing, energy, and the food supply. By owning a piece of these things, you're not just a customer anymore. You're creating a steady, inflation-resistant income stream that actually flows back to you and your family. And that brings us to the fourth and final pillar. And honestly, this is the big one. It's the issue that looms over pretty much every conversation about our financial future: Social Security. This part of the plan is called the longevity lock, and its goal is to make retirement, well, to make it actually secure. So, how do you possibly fix the massive Social Security shortfall we're always hearing about? Well, this proposal points to one single, very targeted change. One change that it claims could close, get this, 90% of the entire long-term funding gap. That's a massive claim.
So what is this one silver bullet change? It's right here, eliminating the income cap on the FICA tax. So what does that mean in plain English?
Right now, people only pay Social Security taxes up to a certain income level. This would get rid of that cap. The highest earners would pay into the system on all of their income, no limit. And the argument is that single adjustment could secure the whole system for generations to come.
Okay, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. When you put all 4 of these pillars together, the wealth firewall, the fairness exchange, the secured stake, and the longevity lock, what you're really looking at is a story of transformation. It's a path from feeling like a victim of a system you can't control to becoming an owner who actually has a stake in the game.
And that really boils down to the core message of this whole thing. It comes down to a choice. The wealth that you work hard to create is going somewhere. There's no doubt about that. The question is where? As the quote says, you're either creating generational wealth for your family or you're creating it for big business. The system argues that it should be your choice.
So that's the high-level look at this proposed system reset. If this has got you thinking and you want to dive deeper into all the details, you can click the link below or just go to FamilyBusinessCircle.com. The FBC, or Family Business Circle, their mission is showing families, businesses, even churches, how to create generational wealth using money they're already spending. If you think what we've talked about here is important, maybe share it with someone who needs to hear it.
Look, there's no question. It is a bold proposal. It's a complete rethink of the relationship between us as individuals, our work, and the entire economy. And it absolutely leaves us with a massive question to think about. Is a fundamental system reset like this the real answer to all our financial anxieties?